When you're ready to take a common assessment and add it to your courses to administer to students, first thing you need to do is get into Schoology. And you get into Schoology by typing in rfschools.schoology.com. If you're already logged into your RF Schools Google account on that browser, you'll be automatically logged into Schoology. If not, you'll just select your RF Schools Google account from the list and log in. Once you're in Schoology, first thing you need to do is go into the courses that you're going to administer this in and add a category called Common Assessments. So I'm going to add this assessment to a little pretend course here just to show you. This one. What I need to do is actually add in my gradebook in this course under Grade Setup. So I've gone to Schoology, a course, and then Gradebook, Grade Setup. I need to add a category here. By default, you won't have any categories. So yours will look, yours might not have that one there. But I just need to add a category, and I'm going to call it Common Assessments. And you can just leave the rest of those defaults blank. Once you've got a category set up, that should be fine. You don't really need to do anything else there. And click Save Changes down at the bottom. So if I scroll down, I do need to click Save Changes. So we've just added a new grading category called Common Assessments so that when we copy the assessment over to our course, that'll be an option to put it in that category for analysis later. You will need to do this step of adding that category to each of your courses. So if you teach Math 1 or English 4 or whatever a number of times, you'll need to do this for each of those courses in the gradebook for each course. Once you've added the category to the course, then let's go into the group where you can find this common assessment. So I'm going to show you in the secondary math team group. So notice I'm not going to a course to find this. I'm going to a group, and you should already be a member of the group. If not, you can look at public groups and find the group under the district level, and I can help you with that if you need it. But for now, I'm going to go on into this secondary math team group because that's where my common assessment is going to be located. When you get into the group, we need to find the assessment. It's going to be under Resources over here, and then it'll probably be in a folder. So I'm looking for the Math 2 Common Assessment right now. So I'm going to go in here. Now, we have to create a question bank and an assessment. You can ignore the question bank completely. That's just where the questions were pulled from. What I want to copy this common assessment to my course that I just created that grading category in. So I'm going to click on the gear over here and say Add to Course. Now I'm going to select the course, and you might have multiple courses that you want to add this to. You can select multiple courses at the same time if you want. If you have folders set up in that course, a Unit 1, Unit 2, or assessments and anything like that, you can put it in a folder. If not, you just leave it at the top level. That's fine. Leave the points alone, please. Due date, if you want to make it appear on students' calendars, you can give it a due date. If not, you don't have to. This is really important, though, that under category, this is why we just went in and created the Common Assessments category. Now it appears there. So if you're not seeing Common Assessments there, that means you need to go back to that course, go to Gradebook, Gradebook Setup, and add a category Common Assessments. And you can rewatch the beginning of this video to find out how to do that. So I'm going to add it to the Common Assessments category. I'm going to leave the rest of this alone and just say Add. Now that's going to add it to that course. I'm still over here in the group, so now I want to go check out that course and see and make sure that everything's cool. So I'm going to find that course again in my list of courses. I have many more courses probably than you do, so you don't have to scroll through as many, which is nice. So there it is. Now, if I want to change anything on that, just leave the name alone, but if you want to change the due date, you can. If you want to make it invisible, you can make it invisible. If you're not ready to deliver it yet, you can click that on and off there. I'm just going to cancel those changes. Then if you click on the assessment itself, you can take a look at the questions. You can double check your settings here. If you want to give students any more detailed instructions, you can add those here. If you want to talk directly to them, you can do that there. And just take note of these. We've set the defaults. It's available now. So right when you put it in there, that means students can see it and potentially start taking it. There's no time limit. If your group has decided to add a time limit, you can change that, but you need to be consistent with the other teachers of your content area. By default, we've made it students only get one attempt at this. The questions are not in random order because they build from each other. Um, they're basically all on one page, all the questions. Um, and we've made it where students can review their questions at the end. So that means they can go back and look at their answers before they click submit. We've made it not resumable. And take note here, this means they only get one chance, and once they start and submit or leave the test, they cannot resume it. So if you have a student who needs to resume it because they accidentally click submit or something like that, you go in here to settings. You can do this even as they're taking the test, and then make it resumable. But by default, we have it where they only take it one time. They cannot resume it once they start it, so that they can't look at it before class, get started, and then come and start it again. But you can change that if you need to, and if that's consistent with the parameters for your common assessments. Last one here to take note of is view submissions. I've defaulted it to where students can view the results of their test, so they can see what they got right and what they got wrong, but they cannot see the correct answers because we don't want them to tell students from another class, for example. You can change that to no if you don't want students to see the results, but then they're not going to know how they did. So by default, that's yes. So I didn't change anything there. I'm going to go to preview. If you want to preview the test the way that students will see it, you can do that here. You'll notice for matching, you click in the box and then enter a letter, and it lines up. With these, you can kind of see how that works. And then with short answer, they can type their answer here. And then when they get to the bottom, students can say review answers. That's because we allowed them to review. And then when they're finished, they can say, oh, I didn't provide an answer there, and then click submit. And that should do it. And you can just tell your students to go to Schoology, click on your course under courses, and they should see the test there.